Oh, someday I'll get the other house done and not be able to make this drive up the road. So if you've noticed, there's two houses there at the farm. One was my grandparents and one was my parents, which I grew up obviously with my parents. And I live up the road about 3 miles away where we had a farm and we gave the lady lifetime residency. She passed away. I was in my 20s, moved up there. Or actually remodeled it, moved in there, been there ever since. And my grandmother passed away not too long after the remodel when I was moved in, so yippee. But anyway, that house has sat empty now for about 7 years. My grandparents went into the last, what was it, 2 winters or winter and a half ago, started tearing it. So I'll walk you through it here when I get time. The remodel's about 65% of the way through. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that day that I won't have to make the old daily drive. So, several things going on today. I need to get back to harvest. We got really beautiful weather, and nope, that's not a lie. It's in the 70s out, and it just doesn't get any nicer than that. So, late fall, beautiful weather. Time to make some tracks in the field again, probably literally because it's still damp. So I'm gonna start taking heads off, getting the wheels put down, and then we'll see where the day goes. Well, anybody that follows me knows that we have a 1795 Exact-Emerge Planters 1223, and I can go out and talk about it out here on different, maybe the next clip. But anyway, we got some more acres going in for next year, and we sold the 611 planter we had. Like I say, if you follow my videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we're going to change it up a little bit. And I've kind of changed things up from really pursuing any excavation work to just going back to the farm. Because you just can't burn the candle at both ends. I'm not quitting anything. But it just made more sense to return to the farm. Less stress, better life for family, kids, everything else. That's a topic for a different discussion. Anyway, what I was going to get at here was I went through this morning, just looked at stuff. Dad and I have been talking back and forth. You know, he says, come up with some options for what you want to do for these planters for next year. I got to trim the budget overall, especially if we're going to do anything different with just even adding the grain cart, you know, added to the budget a little bit. So we got to maybe take it away in a different place. So anyway, any farmer's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Crunch them numbers. So I came up with some options here, and our acres are kind of in a little bit of a gray area. So, you know, that means we don't really have enough acres to get brand new big stuff, but also our land's not super conducive for using, like, you couldn't run. Well, you could run in certain places, like, you know, here on this flat. There's 60 acres there. You could run a 36-row planter on, but you couldn't possibly run you know, that kind of a size planter down over the hill. So anyway, you know, I just came up with some simple scenarios here on a sheet of paper. You know, a new 815, a new 1631. You know, you got a new option B. These are my options I came up with. Option B, maybe get a couple 8-rows, 15s. That'd be a little bit light to get planting done. So I crossed those out. Crossed out a new Exact-Emerge. I mean, $400,000 just out of hand. These are not going to get your work done. 2 8-rows are not going to get your work done. And you know, I checked the question mark here. Dad and I were discussing. We were just writing doodle notes, but you know, I kind of said, let's maybe just go buy a used 1790 1631. You can probably get a pretty decent one for $70,000 right now, and a used 3500. That's we got about $50,000 equity we can toss at this whole deal. It's going to give you about $55,000. I mean, surely a guy can afford that pretty easy, even as bad as things are right now. Another option I came up with, because some of these like 3660 Kinseys and maybe even some of these 1790s are selling for $35,000 to $40,000. Again, I don't know if those got clutches or anything. So, you know, you could have a total of $85,000. The bad thing is I'd have to go up to that 12-row corn head, which in some ways would have benefits, other ways would not. But then again, you're probably gonna spend $20,000 to trade, so you're gonna use up some more of maybe your savings would have been going up there. You know, the idea of one 24-row, one drill, maybe two 8-row planters, and a 1631 for beans only. You know, just sketching ideas. Nothing seemed to really work. Came up with the idea of 3200 Kinsey, maybe like an old 7000 planter, just, you know, cheap, straightforward, cheap corn planters you can get. And you can buy some 1631s. I'm going to pause this and go look at our planter, but... Okay, there's the John Deere ExactEmerge planter, which you guys have seen in the videos earlier. And I'm hitting resume here on the camera, but this particular planter, you know, when you buy the ExactEmerge, you're going to get the high-speed meter, you're going to get the belt delivery system, and we got the Yedder combinations up here, and 13-wave coulters on the bean units. So for what we want, our types of soil, and what we're going to be putting this into ground conditions, it's a great machine. The problem with this planter here is, you know, it's a couple $100,000, and you're going to pay, even with the equity we got in it, you're going to pay $35,000–40,000 a year to own this damn thing. I would like to put the money towards other things, and I've been talking about some things coming up big in the future. There are going to be a couple of, well, I won't drop any balls yet, but so I just maybe need to free up a little bit of money for that endeavor, let's just call it. And so this planter could be one place that can be trimmed. And 1/12/23 with the additional acres are going to be running even on a high-speed barge, because you got turn time, because it's only 12 rows wide. It's not going to get the ground covered, so we'd need a second machine to go along with it. If I had the money, I'd go 12-row head and keep this planter, and then get like a 12-row 23 Kinsey, just a more standard box fill planter or something like that to go along with it. That's a great option, but again, it requires input and everything else. Some of these older 1631s that are out there, such as 1790s, you know, you can buy them, and they'll have the coulters on them. You know, you'll have to replace true V's, re-gauge everything, maybe put tighten these up or replace the shims, but you're only going to have a half width shut off, and you're probably going to have down pressure or spring down pressure. This particular one has pneumatic, but you're going to have a very streamlined, cheaper planter. And while that's okay for corn, I wouldn't, or I mean soybeans, while that's okay for soybeans, I wouldn't recommend it for corn. And the clutches, to me, are something you absolutely have to have when you're going to be doing corn. So, you know, that's going to limit it too, you know, as to what you can buy. So you look on the internet, you know, oh, there's a planter for a certain amount of dollars. Well, does it have clutches? Does it have the coulters? Does it have the residue managers? Does it have the things you want? So you got to factor all those costs in as well. And what I'm coming to find out, I mean, is everything on the internet's just too damn high priced. The cheap leases, they're gone. I know, like, cheap leases on balers, cheap leases on planters, all that stuff, tractors, everything. Cheap lease programs are gone. If I could cheap lease a new 1631 ExactEmerge for this next year, which I showed the quote in an earlier video, that thing's $338,000. That would be the route I would go. But the cheap leases are totally gone. So anyway, got a little bit of some changes here that are going to have to be made, and it's kind of a what to do, back to the drawing board scenario. But you guys will just have to watch and stay tuned for what one of the things we're going to be doing, or endeavors we're going to be getting into, and just have to see what I can do for prices. And I'll probably take you along to dealerships as I go look at things and all the above. So stay tuned for that. Okay, over here is the toolbar. This is our Case IH 950 toolbar. This is a 16-row 30. And we're going to mount this John Deere rate controller on there. And I think I showed in an earlier video. Again, some of the stuff I talk about, you kind of need to watch it daily to really understand. But I talked about in an earlier video how it just had a little stub piece out there on the box tube, and it had all that pipe and everything mounted on there. It was flopping around, so we ended up coming up with this. And if we had a 4x4 box tube round, it would have been a little easier, but even then it would have been perfect, because if you notice there's a 1/2 inch thick piece there, another 1/2 inch thing, so that 404 tube there is not even 100% flat. So we ended up using this with shims. Then we just put our mounts off to the edge. Bought a couple of U-bolts to tie that down, no big deal. And then we were able to move the Green Star rate controller over, and Gary, he was working on this. It looks good, but he had to mount it this way, because if you turned it sideways, the rate controller was going to hit the piping back there. But that'll be a good place for it. So you made a couple of quick brackets, and we're going to operate this system with John Deere Green Star versus the old ag leader, because we used to pull the ag leader out of our Kinsey planter. We'd throw it on here and run it. Well, it worked pretty good, but I think the John Deere system might be a little bit better. And that was an older ag leader system. And there's the roll of wire for those units up there. That'll come off of this Green Star here. We'll tree branch up and go to all the closing valves. We got this, there's 4 of those valves, so set up on 4 sections. So four rows of 4, 16. But nice toolbar. I got some good compliments on it. It's well-built outfit. If I were going to run dual prog place with this, the Montag now's got a new card out that would work well with it, and that might be something to look into one of these days. We looked at them pretty extensively up there at the Farm Progress Show. Problem with running all that crap is you got a lot of tubes that wear out and etc. You know, it's a high wear machine, and you know, you end up with machines that don't have a hell of a lot of profit, because it's all service industry. If you could sell the fertilizer, that's where you're going to make your money. When we bought this machine, we were setting it up, and Dad and Jim, they couldn't figure out what these brackets were. When I finally figured, well, you got to have your hoses all equal length. So, you know, you got your tree branching flow controllers here, and then you got your impellers, whatever you want to call them. So you come off your shut-offs up there, you tree branch out to your 4 lines. Well, all your lines have to be the same length, so that's where you coil them up at. And it gives you a nice clean look. Anyway, we keep it indoors so your hoses, they claim they only last a year or 2, but indoors they'll last 10 years, especially the black pipes. You know, then you got the hoses there, and they go on out. So you can route your hosing on your toolbar here. You don't have any issues of crap piled up there, where it, you know, it gives you a good clean look. Anyway, I'll have more about this crap and rate controllers and everything in a future video, how to operate some of that stuff and compatibility issues we've run into already. So. 2 farms here, partway down the road, and for you local guys that know where we're located or whereabouts, there's a road sign for you. Anyway, started moving this cart, and the left side has just got a wallop from hell to it. Cali back there too. But that left side tire is just bouncing like crazy. And I got a gut feeling that there's something broken inside. And they don't, when they deliver these carts from Shorts Rock, they just pull them behind the truck. They don't actually disassemble them, because it's just more cost. Time you break a cart down, throw it on a low boy, block it all up, it is not worth it. And the customer has got to bolt the wheels on, they're going to have to send a crew down, especially if it's pulling wagons back. They learn to pull them, but you know, what's 300 miles on a set of brand new tires from the factory? What's that do to this thing's at 55, 60 miles an hour? So the Fendt, it's smooth as can be, love it. Anyway, I'm going 16 mile an hour right now, because I get much over that. And you can see the hop in it even right now, if I can hold that camera steady enough. So that's going to have to be dealt with, because that tire is probably $10,000, and I have no idea really, but I imagine it's not cheap. So I'm going to have to get a claim on that or something. Anywho, stay tuned for more info on those planters, you know, because that's something that's got to be changed up. I don't know what tractor I'll be using, possibly this one. Just, you're gonna have to stay watching and learn. Before I end today's video, I was going to talk about one thing, and that's just some gray areas of the law. And what kind of brought up my mind was just over here moving the tractor, was to see some dirt roads and stuff that I'm not taking today because they're just pure mud. I don't want the tractor to be all covered in mud for absolutely no reason. I can drive another mile and a half on pavement. And a mud road. Now, if you got cattle down a mud road and you end up going in there, have to hay your cows or have to feed your cows, sign does say enter at your own risk. You know, living on dirt is enter at your own risk. And honestly, for that fact, some of these gravels are getting just to be about that bad. But if you tear it up, then, you know, you had a justified reason and you took your own risk and you entered. Now, on the flip side of that, if you went out and you basically do nothing more than take a four-wheel drive pickup and plow down it because you're just wanting to go have a mud plowing competition with some buddies, and then all this hell, that road's all torn to crap because of no reason besides you wanted to have a mud plowing plowing day, you know, that kind of really to me sets up a gray area of the law. It says, you know, destruction of public property versus, you know, the need or have to. And well, I don't think it's ever prosecuted upon for going down a mud road. And if somebody were to crown a hill and had the excuse, oh crap, I didn't see the sign, or whatever, you know, whatever it may be, I suppose there's justified reasons. But there's a lot of areas of the law that are just like this. For an example, another one, here's a creek and a little stream coming up. If you can run a canoe or a kayak or whatever up that thing, in other words, if it's navigable water for over 6 months of the year, it is legal to actually take a canoe up that deal, and the only time you can get out on the bank or go around something is if you enter an obstacle. So that right there is a private property farm, but there's water in it. It's probably got water in it for over 6 months of the year, so part of that thing I could, you know, kayak up it without being charged for trespassing. And that's provable by cubic volume of runoff, you know, the draft of a canoe or whatever else, or draft of a kayak for that fact, in the water. And it should actually hold up in court. But, you know, maybe they could potentially look at it or viewpoint of trespassing as well, you know. So areas of the law, you know, if a cop were to come along and give you a ticket for destruction of public property when you said, hey, I gotta hay my cows in there, that wouldn't be very justified. But it's the same notion, it's not very good for everybody else, or have farmers have to deal with rough roads because of somebody just wanting to go mud bogging. So finite areas of the law. Maybe there ought to be some more, you know, things that this, you know, you own property down this road, or you have livestock, or there are justified reasons, and you are cut and dry, you can enter it. If you are just out there mud plowing for no apparent reason other than just see what your pickup will go out and do, then they ought to be able to write you a ticket for destruction of public property. Because let's face it, if you go out and you bend a sign or something, even if I had an accident, hit one with the edge of the bean head, you know, over here at the edge of the ditch, you know, hit a sign, I'd still probably be in damage of public property. No clarity of these laws at all. Same with the kayaking up these streams. Either complete 100% trespassing after you enter beyond the right of way, or 100% forget it, you know, and allow people to kayak. And right there was a trailer house, and we actually just trenched the guy a water line, and he needed the rural water, so we trenched that. If you look back in some videos, there's a hydromax we were running up that ditch, putting that water line in, and a few months after we get it hooked up, he passes away. And they're taking it was a double wide trailer, they're taking the house down. I think they're going to sell it. So pretty sad deal, you know, for him to spend the money to put a water line in and just, you know, pass away right away afterwards. But that's how the world goes around, I guess. Anyway, I got a big long string of traffic behind me because of that lumpy tire. And I'm going to go over and check some beans and see what I can accomplish today. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.